Jonathan told me that he had not told anybody that he would contest in 2015. But what is that? You don't waive your fundamental human rights. Jonathan has all the constitutional legal right to contest in 2015. One could say that from the rooftop.
So it's not third term?
No, it's not third term. I mean, if you invite me for a lecture on this one, I'll be very glad to come back. Now, he has not told anybody that he is contesting in 2015. But so what? In 1998, when Obasanjo was released from prison, in order to come and propitiate the hurt susceptibilities of Southwesterners, now because of the death of Abiola, now the trio of IBB, General T.Y. Danjuma and Atiku Abubakar met him at Ota, and they told him, "You're going to be president." Well, naturally and habitually, "Oh, no, I don't want to be. All right, but they prevailed on him, prevailed in quotes. When they prevailed on him, then he gave one condition, in the presence of all of them. The only condition under which I will be president is just, for you to allow me to stay there for just one term. Only one term, to serve as a cross between the military we have just emerged from and then the civilians, of which I am a member today. Only one term." They said that very well, because in fact, after one term, you just said it all. After one term, this is the person that is going to take over from you. They pointed at Atiku Abubakar. Now, when he got there, in between the time he got there and the end of the second term, well-wishers, in quotes, persuaded him to continue to do a second term. Well-wishers persuaded him to do a second term. And he was going to do a second term. And then, of course, the party over which he was leader almost broke into two, because he's talking of the party breaking out during the time of Jonathan, almost broke into two. 27 of the PDP governors went against him, that he was not going to come in as second term president. He almost had to prostrate, and then they allowed him to do second term. After second term, he wanted to do third term and wasted billions of naira in this country, with the National Assembly, to amend the constitution for him to do a second term and probably become a life president. Now, Mandela, whose burial they all attended, wasn't like that. If it was not like that, nobody would bat an eyelid over his death. So, what right has this man to say, a president, a good leader, ought to have trust, and we have to trust him, and we have to have honor, all of which he lacked during his time.
But let's talk about the issues.
Please.
One other issue you talked about was the issue of the war against corruption.
Yes, corruption. Okay, when you talk about corruption, I must admit here that Jonathan is either not doing anything at all about corruption, or he is paying lip service to this problem of corruption. He is either doing nothing, or is merely paying lip service to the issue of corruption, because what EFCC used to do during Obasanjo is no longer. You don't even know whether there is an EFCC or an ICPC today. So that one, I will fully agree with the former president. I will fully agree. But then, even during Obasanjo, what happened? He established the ICPC in year 2000 with the ICPC Act 2000. Then he established the EFCC in 2004 when Nuhu Ribadi came. The demand was teleguided to do his own job. The EFCC was established to go after the political enemies of Obasanjo. That was very clear.
No matter which way you go,
yes.
I mean, when you're trying to, even though you've just divided into two and said you want to take a look at the message first and
yes.
then look at the messenger,
yes.
It would seem that you keep vacillating between the message and then it brings you back again to the messenger. That's how it's. I was trying to establish, what you're thinking on the source of the letter to the public,
yes.
because of the motive.
Yes.
It's very important, because is it that we're supposed, there are two things that could happen. You said that this letter, borders on the verge of treasonable felony.
Yes.
And I will think that would only be you can establish that if you talked about who exactly leaked the letter And for what reason? If, for instance, if it came from the villa, for instance, some people believe it did, one would ask, what would be the motive of that? If it also came from President Obasanjo, is it also to get the Nigerian people emotional about these issues?
Okay. You see, first of all, take a look at this. He said he's advising his protege, you know, somebody that he appointed. Not the Nigerian public voting for him, but somebody that he appointed. He was advising him. Advising him in what way? And then the letter leaked. Now, we are now asking whether the letter leaked through the presidency or through the writer. Now, but don't forget that because I ambled through the letter. I went through the letter, you know, verse by verse, you know, sentence by sentence until I came to the end of it. Now, somewhere along the line, he said he was copied, he let the president know that he was copying that letter to General Ibrahim Babangida. He was copying General T.Y. Danjuma. He was copying some other people. So after copying all those people, and we are still talking of leaking. So what is leaking?
But I think that
this was not a letter that he wrote directly to President Jonathan. He had already copied a number of people. He said so.
So there are definitely a room, you know, for that leakage.
Yes,
I think there's no leakage here, because I went further to say this actually is an open letter.
Yes.
And in law, an open letter is meant for public.
It's not for the public.
For the public.
Yes.
So we can't be talking about any leakage
We can't be talking of leakage at all, because the letter was not leaked. He leaked. If we talk of leakage at all, he leaked it. Because he already said so in the body of his own letter, that he had copied quite a number of people. So how can we now say, oh, the letter leaked from him or the presidency or something, when he already admitted in his own letter that he had copied so many people?
So before you leave, how do you expect the presidency to respond to this? Well,
there is a way. I thank God that I never became president of this nation. I never can be because of the scheme of things that we see. Now, if I were president of this country, all those people who said, "Oh, we will make Nigeria ungovernable for the president, for Jonathan, if he ever won that election." After winning the election and trouble broke out, and in the nature of Boko Haram and all the others that we cannot contain, that we cannot rein in today, I would have gone after those people. I would have gone after those people like hellfire. I mean, if you want to call the person dictator, I mean, the fact is clear. Our people here will say, if the witch cried yesterday and the baby died this morning, wouldn't you reasonably attribute the death of the baby to the cry of the witch last night? I mean, if all those people promise, hellfire, if President Jonathan ever won this election and and he won the election and this trouble broke out, then you go after now this type of letter. Now, what I would have done if I were president is that he either keeps quiet and let Nigerians judge the letter, the message and the messenger, or he would call President Obasanjo to order, because there is no sacred cow. Whether you were former president or not, former president, former prime ministers, heads of states and government in all over the world have gone to jail. They've been executed. So if I were, I would have called him to order and let everybody know. But in a way, he could also keep quiet over the thing, let the hosting stop at the level of what the aides have said, and then let the public judge.
Well, Chris Akiri, he's the chairman, editorial board of National Daily Newspapers, an author, a public affairs analyst, and also a lawyer. Thank you for coming.
It is my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Well, sorry.